Get out of my house, right now. That's what I should have screamed the moment I saw the security footage. But I didn't. Instead, I made one phone call and waited. See, I'm a writer, and I collect. Earth where I can still feel close to her. And when Brenda Caldwell, our HOA president, decided to break in that Tuesday afternoon, she had no idea what she was actually violating, or who was already on their way to put a stop to it. The message came in while I was hunched over my laptop in Riverside Cafe, halfway through a video call with my publisher about the last chapter of my book. My phone buzzed on the table. I glanced down Miles Hartley. He lives 3 houses down, mechanical engineer, same addiction to classic muscle as me. We've spent more Saturday mornings than I can count leaning over carburetors and talking engines across the fence. But this wasn't a lazy Saturday, and the text he sent froze my blood right in my veins. Wyatt, Brenda just broke into your garage. Not joking. She's using a crowbar on your side door. I'm recording this. I stared at those words like they were written in another language. And then, ping, a video file. My hands were shaking. When I opened it, the footage was grainy but clear enough. Brenda, HOA president of Meadowbrook Estates, wedging a crowbar into my door, putting her weight into it until the lock snapped and she slipped inside. My publisher was still talking in my ear, asking if I was there, but I was already packing up. I left $20 on the table, grabbed my bag, and all but sprinted for the door, already dialing the sheriff. The call picked up quick. Sheriff Donovan. I said, "This is Wyatt Mercer, 1247 Oakwood Drive. Someone's broken into my garage and is inside my property right now." I kept my voice steady. Journalism habits never really die, even though my heart was rattling in my chest. Sheriff Donovan's been with the county for over 20 years, and he knows I'm not the type to call in a panic unless it's real. When I told him it was Brenda Caldwell, the HOA president, with video proof and security cameras running, there was a moment of silence. Then his tone. Swiping through the security app, 8 camera feeds popped up on my phone, different angles of my 3-floor garage. The ground floor showed my cars, the '67 Mustang Fastback Claire and I bought. Together, the Challenger, the Camaro, all 6 lined up like sentries. Upstairs, the workspace, stacks of notes and drafts, the place I ran to when the house got too quiet. But it was cameras 7 and 8, pointed at the 3rd floor. That made my stomach twist. That's Claire's memorial room. Every single thing I have left of her is in there. On my screen, Brenda strolled between my cars, snapping photos, her face set in that smug, righteous, I have the authority look. Then she started up the stairs. My jaw clenched. Upstairs wasn't just an office. It was where I kept my research. Drafts, every late-night scribble when I couldn't sleep. She wandered around my desk, rifled through drawers labeled private, and thumbed through my notebooks like she owned the place. 5 minutes from home, my phone showed Sheriff Donovan on the map. He'd arrived just after me. Camera 6 caught Brenda standing at the base of the 3rd floor stairs, staring up at the door that read, "Claire's memorial room." I actually thought she might respect that line. But nope. She climbed up, hand on the knob, and disappeared inside. Let me tell you about that room. Small, maybe 200 square feet, soft light, walls covered in the photographs Claire took, every one of them a slice of the life we built together. In the corner, our wedding photo, a candle I light every Sunday, and a safe holding her ashes and her last letter to me. And Brenda, she just walked in and started photographing everything, like she was on a home inspection. She even tried to open the safe. The audacity, it made something cold settle in my chest. I pulled onto my street and saw Brenda's silver Lexus, half on my lawn, door hanging open. Sheriff Donovan rolled up behind me, silent. No lights, no siren, just that calm, things are about to be handled energy. We met at the end of the driveway. He asked if she was still inside. I nodded, held up my phone, showed him the live feed. Remote. The door started to rise, sunlight flooding in inch by inch. And there she was, Brenda Caldwell, caught between the Corvette and the Porsche, face lit up like a deer in headlights. Sunlight with me and a sheriff staring her down. But you want to know how we got here? Let me back up a sec, because Brenda's stunt wasn't just some spur-of-the-moment power trip. That morning, notice, homeowner consent, third-party inspectors for commercial complaints. Brenda's notice broke every rule. I emailed back, laid it out in black and white, pointed out every violation. But Brenda wasn't after code compliance. She was after something else. Maybe she thought my 9 cars meant I was running a business. Maybe she just needed to flex her power. Whatever it was, she decided the rules didn't apply. I told you, my garage isn't a shop. It's an archive, a writing studio, a monument to the life Claire and I built. I write books. I don't fix up cars for clients. Her ashes and that letter I still haven't opened because I can't stand the idea of it being the end. So when Miles sent that video, my first reaction wasn't even anger. It was cold calculation. 15 years as a journalist, property rights, civil liberties, legal disputes. I know the system. Emotions get you nowhere in court. But evidence? Procedure? That's what gets justice. So, I called the sheriff. Gave him the facts. While Brenda prowled through my life, I lined up everything to make sure what she'd done would stick. You have to understand, Brenda's not just nosy, she's a pattern. Henderson, Yamasaki, the Johnsons, all fined, all harassed, all scared into compliance because they thought they had no choice. But I had proof, cameras, a neighbor's video, a paper trail. The garage door opened, and Brenda's face did this incredible thing, smug confidence melting to pure panic. Sheriff Donovan stepped forward, voice steady, not yelling, just radiating authority. Mrs. Caldwell, you need to step out of the garage now. Brenda tried her usual. I'm conducting an official HOA inspection. I have authority under the bylaws, but I cut in. You have no authority to. Life. The sheriff was barely holding back a laugh. Then he said, Mrs. Caldwell, HOA bylaws do not override criminal law. You're trespassing. You broke a lock. Step out now, or you'll be escorted. Out in handcuffs. Brenda's mask finally broke. She kept sputtering about protecting the community, and 9 cars means illegal activity. But the sheriff wasn't having it. He put her by his cruiser, then turned to me. Let's see the damage and review the footage. We watched every second together. Brenda trying the door, grabbing a crowbar from her trunk. Premeditation, the sheriff said, working it into the frame, breaking in, walking the whole place. Ground floor, cars. Second, my writing space. Third, my most private room. She even tried the safe. Are you pressing charges? The sheriff asked. I didn't even blink. Every single charge. That room is sacred. My wife's ashes are in that safe. Brenda Caldwell violated the only space I have left with her. The sheriff said he'd send his video too. She had no right, man. None. She's been on a power trip forever. This is just next level. He was right. The law moved fast. Brenda was taken in for questioning. President, effective immediately. They apologized, said they'd failed to act on complaints, and laid out new rules. 72 hours written notice for inspections, third-party investigators only. Code. But about what happens when someone with a bit of power thinks they can do whatever they want. The room was dead silent. Then, one by one, neighbors stood up. She did this to me too. She threatened us with fines. We were scared. I realized in that moment, fear had kept people silent for years. Brenda tried to apologize, a letter, a voicemail, then finally she approached me. From the sidewalk, not daring to step on my lawn. She was wrecked, eyes sunken, voice trembling. I'm so sorry, not because I got caught, but because I hurt you. I didn't know about Claire. I told her, you never thought about me as a person, only your authority. The law would handle the rest. The case went to court. The judge was all business. Did you break a lock after being denied access in writing? Brenda's lawyer tried to wriggle out, claimed authority, claimed intent. The judge shut him down cold. Bylaws don't supersede criminal law. She listed every charge. Cited my therapist's evaluation about the impact on my grief, referenced Brenda's history of overreach. This is not an isolated incident. This is abuse of authority. Bail was set. HOA keys surrendered. Brenda barred from any HOA role for 5 years. A plea deal followed, probation, restitution, community service, and a permanent mark on her record. 4 months later, I finished the Mustang, the last project Claire and I had dreamed up together. The day I turned that key and the V8 roared to life, the garage finally felt like mine again. That Sunday, I climbed up to the memorial room, opened the safe, and read Claire's last letter. She told me, you always finish what you start, even when it hurts. Don't stay frozen in the past. Drive the Mustang. Let yourself live again. I took the Mustang out, drove the Pacific Coast Highway, scattered a little of Claire's ashes at a vista point overlooking the ocean, her favorite place. I came home and wrote the final chapter of my book, not about engines or American muscle, but about grief, justice, and what it means to defend the spaces that let us heal. The book sold better than any I'd written. The chapter about the break-in, about standing up to abuse of authority and reclaiming my sanctuary, resonated with folks all across the country. Emails poured in, people sharing their own stories of HOA nightmares, of grief, of finding the courage to fight back. The HOA reformed. Policies changed. I got a framed resolution thanking me for standing up for homeowner rights. But honestly, I didn't do it for recognition. I did it because sometimes you have to draw a line and say, enough. Because when you defend your boundaries, you're literal and emotional. Boundaries, you're not just protecting yourself. You're making it safer for everyone. I still visit Claire's room. The pain's not gone, but it's changed. I drive the Mustang, let it get a little dirty, laugh at how careful I used to be. And when I park it in the garage, lights off, locks secure, I know it's not just a garage anymore. It's a place reclaimed, a story retold, a promise kept. So, what do you think? Does justice really fix a violation like this? Or is there something deeper that can't be undone? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about your own battles with boundaries, with HOAs, with grief. Let's talk about what it really means to fight for what's right. And hey, if you ever find yourself facing down someone who thinks a title makes them untouchable, remember, document everything, stand your ground, and never let anyone tell you where your story ends.